In this video, we are going to walk through how to install Notebook Snap. We're going to start out in GitHub, and we're going to clone the project using Azure Data Studio. So to start that, I'm going to click on this code button and click this icon, which is going to copy the URL. I'm going to open Azure Data Studio. Once that is open, I'm going to hit F1 and you can start typing git clone. Then once you select that, you paste in the repository and hit enter. Then it's going to ask you to select a repository location. So I already have a folder out here that I called Git. So if you don't have a folder, go ahead and create that. And then I'm going to choose select repository location. And then down at the bottom, it asks if I would like to open the cloned repository. So I'm going to hit open. And if I go over to Explorer, I can see all of the content from that project. I'm going to move up to notebooks, and I'm going to start out with the installation instructions. I'm going to open this notebook and go through the installation steps. We already did step 1, which is cloning the project, and step 2, which is opening the install instructions. Step 3, I am going to walk through how to install an extension for Azure Data Studio. There's 2 extensions that need to be installed, Notebook Snap and ELTSnap, and those are both in the project that we just cloned. So this icon over here will take you to the extensions. You can also hit Control-Shift-X to get there. Once you're in extensions, you're going to click on these 3 dots and go down to Install from VSIX. Once you're there, navigate to the extension folder, and you're going to choose the ELTSnap extension, hit install. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to install this? Go ahead and say yes. And you'll see up at the top the bar running that shows you it's installing. I'm going to click reload. Okay, so we completed step 3. And then there's one more extension that's needed, but you can search for this one in extensions. You just type in SQL Server Dacpac and then install that extension. That's going to allow you to do step 4, which is deploying these 2 databases. So I'm going to click on these instructions. And this walks you through how to deploy those databases. So you want to navigate back over to your connection, which is this top left icon. And then you want to connect to the server where you want those databases to go. You're going to right click and choose Data Tier Application Wizard. Just leave it at the first option and hit next. And then navigate to the database folder. You'll see ELT Framework and ELTSnap v2. So you'll do these steps for each one. So I'm going to choose ELT Framework and hit open. It has my target server. I'm going to hit new database and then hit next. And then hit deploy. And you'll see down here the spinning circle that it's deploying that database. So once that's succeeded, I'm going to repeat this step for the other database. So I'm going to right click, choose Data Tier Application Wizard. Leave it at the first option and hit next. And then I'm going to navigate to the database folder. This time I'm going to select ELTSnap v2 and open. Choose new database. And then hit next. and deploy. Once that's done, I'm going to navigate back to the installation instructions. So I'll go to Notebooks, go to Installation, scroll down to where we are. We just completed step 4. So now we're going to move on to step 5. And this is instructing us to use this notebook. So I can click on this link here and it'll open this notebook. We want to connect to ELTSnap v2 to do this. I'm going to hit execute and choose ELTSnap v2 and then connect, and it'll run that. I'll go back to the install instructions, and step 6 is similar. I'm going to go to this notebook. And this one needs to be executed on ELT framework. So I'll connect to that database. And you'll see that succeeded. So that catches us up all the way to step 7. So we're going to clone another project from GitHub for this. I'm going to click on Runtime. This is going to take us back out to GitHub. So from here, I'm going to copy the URL. And then in Azure Data Studio, I hit F1, choose Git Clone, paste in the repository, and hit Enter. Navigate to the repository location. It's the same folder that I used before. Mine's called Git. When it clones it, it's going to ask me if I want to open it or add it to the workspace. So if I add it to the workspace right now, I'll be able to see all of the projects in the same window. So that's the one I'm going to use. And you'll see it added these notebooks down here. And under ELTSnap runtime, you'll see the instructions. There's just 2 steps in here for setting up the runtime. So let me open up this notebook for step 1. In here, we're setting the path for the runtime folder. So what I'm going to do is go to the Explorer all the way over to the left. And then I find this run folder, and I'm just going to right click and choose copy path. And then it tells me where to paste it in right here. I'm going to paste that in. And then I just hit run for all of the steps in here. So we're down to step 8, and it's telling us to run this statement in a terminal window. Now keep in mind, if you're not using localhost, you will need to change the name of that server to the server name. So I just paste in that statement here and hit enter. All right, so that finished, and that lets me know that the runtime is working properly. The last step is to clone another project from GitHub. And this project is called Notebook Snap Basics. This has a lot of notebooks that will show you how to create projects, create data flows, and run that. So I copied. I'm going to go to Git clone. I'm going to choose my repository location. And again, it's going to ask me if I want to open it separately or add it to the workspace. I'm going to hit add to the workspace, and you'll see the Notebook Snap Basics down here. And then you're all set.